My girlfriend humiliated me at our anniversary dinner by calling me a pathetic simp in front of all of our friends. I smiled, finished my drink, and threw her belongings away. Now she's losing it. You know that moment when your entire world shifts and you realize you've been living a lie? Yeah, that happened to me 3 weeks ago at what was supposed to be our 3-year anniversary dinner. I'm still processing it all, honestly. Let me back up and give you the full picture. I'm 28, work in IT for a mid-sized company, and I thought I had my life figured out. My girlfriend Rachel, 26, and I had been together since we met at a mutual friend's birthday party. She's one of those people who lights up a room, gorgeous, outgoing, always the center of attention. I'll admit it, I was probably punching above my weight class, but hey, love is weird like that. For our anniversary, I'd planned this whole elaborate dinner at the Oak Room, this upscale place downtown that costs about $200 per person. Not gonna lie, it hurt the wallet, but Rachel had been dropping hints about wanting to go there for months. I invited our usual crew, Alex and his girlfriend Brittany, Rachel's college roommate Lauren, and Eric from my work. 6 of us total. I should have seen the red flags earlier. Over the past few months, Rachel had been making these little comments. Calling me too nice when I'd bring her coffee in the morning. Rolling her eyes when I'd offer to pick up groceries. Making jokes about how I was whipped in front of our friends. I figured it was just her sense of humor, you know? We all roast each other. Her sister Haley had even mentioned once that Rachel could be a bit sharp sometimes, but I thought that was just sibling dynamics. But looking back, there was this pattern. She'd gotten comfortable being dismissive, and I'd gotten comfortable letting it slide. The night started off normal enough. I'd made reservations for 7 p.m., showed up early to make sure everything was perfect. Wore my best shirt, this navy button-down she'd complimented before. Even brought her favorite flowers, those expensive white roses that cost me $45 at the fancy florist. Rachel showed up 20 minutes late in this stunning black dress, and honestly, my first thought was how lucky I was. She looked incredible. Our friends trickled in, everyone was in good spirits, and I thought, this is it. This might be the night I finally propose. Yeah, I had the ring. Had been carrying it around for 2 months, waiting for the perfect moment. $3,200 from Sterling & Company that took me 6 months to save up for. I'm not rich, but I wanted to do it right. Dinner conversation was flowing, everyone catching up, sharing stories. I was feeling confident, maybe even a little proud. Here I was, treating everyone to this nice meal, celebrating 3 years with this amazing woman. I'd worked overtime for 2 months to afford this night. Then Alex mentioned something about how thoughtful I was for planning everything, and Rachel laughed. Not a good laugh. One of those sharp, cutting laughs that makes everyone go quiet. Thoughtful? She said, loud enough for neighboring tables to hear. More like desperate. This is exactly the kind of thing a pathetic simp would do, throw money around trying to impress everyone because he knows he can't keep a woman interested any other way. The table went dead silent. I mean, you could hear the classical music playing in the background, that's how quiet it got. I just sat there, fork halfway to my mouth, processing what she just said. In front of everyone. At our anniversary dinner. After I'd spent a small fortune and months planning this. The worst part? The looks on our friends' faces. Brittany looked horrified. Alex was staring at his plate. Eric looked like he wanted to disappear. Lauren, and this is what really got me, Lauren was smirking. Like she'd been waiting for this moment. Rachel kept going. I mean, look at this whole production. The flowers, the fancy restaurant, making sure everyone's here to witness how romantic he is. It's embarrassing, honestly. I'd like to say I had some witty comeback or that I stood up and made a scene. But you know what I did? I smiled. Put down my fork, picked up my water glass, and took a slow sip. You know what, Rachel? I said quietly. You're absolutely right. She looked confused for a second, like she'd expected me to argue or get defensive. I am pathetic, I continued, still smiling. Pathetic for thinking someone who talks about their boyfriend like that in public deserves this kind of effort. I stood up, pulled out my wallet, and put down $400 in cash on the table. Dinner's covered. Get whatever you want. Then I looked directly at her. But here's the thing, you just made this real easy for me. I walked out. Didn't look back, didn't wait for anyone to follow. Just left. The drive home was surreal. I kept replaying the moment, feeling this weird mix of humiliation and clarity. Like, yeah, it hurt. But also, I finally saw what everyone else probably saw. The way she talked to me, about me. How comfortable she'd gotten with disrespect. When I got home, Rachel's stuff was everywhere. Her clothes in my closet, her toiletries covering my bathroom counter, her books on my shelves. 3 years of gradual invasion that I'd never really noticed. I made a decision. I grabbed every single thing that belonged to her and put it in garbage bags. Not gonna lie, it was therapeutic. Every condescending comment, every eye roll, every time she'd made me feel small, it all went into those bags. Her $150 skincare routine? Bag. The designer jeans she was always bragging about? Bag. Her favorite sweater that she'd borrowed from some ex? Bag. The expensive makeup collection that took up half my bathroom? Bag. All of it. Filled up 6 large trash bags. But here's where I was smarter than she probably expected. I didn't actually throw them away. I loaded everything into my car and drove to her sister's place across town. Knocked on the door at 11 p.m. "Hey Haley," I said when she answered. "I've got Rachel's things. We broke up tonight. Could you let her know they're here?" Haley looked confused but took the bags. I gave her my keys to Rachel's apartment. Yeah, we'd exchanged keys like idiots in love do, and said, "Tell her I left these with you too." Then I drove home and changed my locks. $180 for an emergency locksmith, but worth every penny. My phone started blowing up around midnight. First Rachel, then Lauren, then numbers I didn't recognize. I turned it off and went to bed. The next morning, I finally looked at the messages. 37 missed calls. 62 text messages. It was like a master class in manipulation tactics. Rachel started with anger. "How dare you embarrass me like that, and you can't just throw away 3 years." Then came the guilt trips. "I didn't mean it, I was just stressed and you know how I get when I'm overwhelmed." Then bargaining. "I'll make it up to you and we can work through this." Finally, back to anger. "You're pathetic and I'm better off without you, and good luck finding someone else who'll put up with your boring personality." Lauren's messages were even worse. Apparently, I was financially abusive for taking back things from my own apartment. Yeah, that's not how that works. But the friends who mattered reached out too. Alex called that Sunday. "Dude," he said, "I've been wanting to say something for months. The way she talked to you. Brittany and I discussed it multiple times. We were just waiting for you to see it." Eric texted, "That was brutal, man. But honestly, respect for how you handled it. A lot of guys would have caused a scene." Even Brittany reached out, "I'm sorry we didn't say anything sooner. We thought it might be their dynamic, but what she said at dinner crossed every line." Turns out, our friends had been watching this toxic pattern for way longer than I realized. They'd seen her tear me down in little ways, but nobody wanted to get involved in our relationship. Can't blame them for that. The first week was rough, not gonna lie. 3 years is a long time, and even toxic relationships leave you with habits. I kept making coffee for 2 people. Kept checking my phone expecting her texts. Kept finding little reminders of her everywhere. But then something interesting happened. I started enjoying my space again. I could watch what I wanted on Netflix without negotiating. I could make plans with friends without checking with her first. I could buy groceries without a lecture about wasting money. I could exist without constant commentary about everything I did wrong. It was like I'd been holding my breath for months without realizing it. Rachel showed up at my office 2 weeks later. Security called me down to the lobby because she was causing a scene, demanding they let her up to talk to her boyfriend. "We need to talk," she said when I came down. She looked rough, like she hadn't been sleeping. "No," I said. "We really don't. You can't just throw away 3 years over one comment." "Rachel, it wasn't one comment. It was the final comment." She tried everything. Tears, anger, promises to change, accusations that I was being dramatic. When none of that worked, she played her final card. "Fine," she said. "But I'm keeping the ring." I laughed. Actually laughed. "What ring?" "The engagement ring you bought. Lauren saw the receipt in your car." "Oh, that ring." I pulled out my phone and showed her a photo. "You mean this one?" It was a picture of the return receipt from Sterling and Company, $3,200 back in my account, processed 3 days after our anniversary dinner. Her face went completely white. You returned it?" "Rachel, the moment you called me pathetic in front of our friends, you returned it for me. You just didn't know it yet." That's when she really lost it. Started yelling about how I'd led her on, how I'd wasted her time, how she'd given me the best years of her life. Security had to escort her out. The funny thing is, I felt bad for her in that moment. Not enough to take her back, but bad nonetheless. Because I realized she genuinely didn't understand what she'd done wrong. In her mind, she was just being honest, just expressing frustration. She couldn't see how her words had been chipping away at us for months. But that's the thing about respect, once it's gone, it's really hard to get back. I'm writing this 3 weeks later, and honestly, I feel like I dodged a bullet. A $3,200 bullet that I managed to return to the store. My friends have been amazing. Alex and Brittany took me out last weekend, and we had the kind of fun I hadn't had in months. No walking on eggshells, no worrying about someone getting upset over nothing. Eric hooked me up with his gym membership, and I've been working out again. Hadn't realized how much I'd stopped taking care of myself. I even started dating again. Nothing serious, just coffee dates and casual conversations. And you know what's wild? Women actually seem to like me when I'm not constantly apologizing for existing. Rachel's been texting me sporadically, usually late at night. The messages range from sweet, "I miss us," to manipulative, "You're making a huge mistake," to straight up cruel, "You'll never find someone like me again." That last one makes me laugh every time. She's right, I'll never find someone exactly like her. That's the whole point. I blocked her number last week. Also blocked Lauren, who apparently has made it her personal mission to tell mutual friends that I'm emotionally unavailable and couldn't handle a strong woman. Alex told me she's been posting cryptic stuff on social media about men who can't appreciate what they have and toxic masculinity. Whatever helps her sleep at night. The weirdest part of this whole experience has been realizing how much energy I was spending trying to manage someone else's emotions. Walking on eggshells, overthinking every word, constantly trying to avoid setting her off. I didn't even realize how exhausting it was until it stopped. Now when I make plans, I make them because I want to, not because I'm trying to prove something or avoid an argument. When I buy something, it's because I need it or want it, not because I'm compensating for some perceived inadequacy. I've been thinking a lot about what she said that night. Pathetic simp. The words that ended our relationship. Maybe I was being a simp, in the sense that I was putting way too much effort into someone who didn't appreciate it. But pathetic? Nah. Pathetic would have been staying with someone who thought it was okay to humiliate me in public. Pathetic would have been accepting that treatment as normal. Pathetic would have been begging her to take me back. What I did was recognize my worth and act accordingly. That's not pathetic, that's growth. I still have the screenshots of all her messages, by the way. Not because I'm holding on to anger, but because they serve as a good reminder of what I'm not going back to. Sometimes when you're lonely or nostalgic, you start romanticizing the good times and forgetting why things ended. Those screenshots keep me honest. My therapist, yeah, I started seeing someone, best $120 per week I've ever spent, helped me understand that I'd been trying to love someone into being nice to me. That's not how it works. People treat you how they want to treat you, and all the expensive dinners in the world won't change that. She also helped me see that Rachel's behavior at the restaurant wasn't a moment of weakness or stress. It was her showing me exactly who she was when she felt secure enough to drop the mask. I'm grateful, in a weird way. Better to see someone's true colors after 3 years than after marriage and kids. The engagement ring money is sitting in my savings account now, earning interest. Maybe I'll use it for a vacation, maybe a down payment on a house. Or maybe I'll save it for someone who actually deserves it. But I'll tell you what I won't do, I won't spend it trying to convince someone to love me. Because here's what I learned, the right person won't make you feel pathetic for caring about them. They'll be grateful for your effort, not embarrassed by it. They'll build you up in front of friends, not tear you down. They'll see romantic gestures as sweet, not desperate. They'll treat your heart like the gift it is, not like something they're entitled to. Rachel texted me yesterday from a new number. I hope you're happy. You know what? I actually am. And that's the most satisfying revenge of all, being genuinely better off without someone who thought they were doing you a favor just by staying. Update, because people keep asking. Rachel showed up at my apartment building yesterday with some guy I'd never seen before. The doorman called me, and I told him I wasn't expecting any visitors. She apparently stood outside for 20 minutes before giving up. Got a text later, really mature, hiding behind your doorman. I didn't respond. Some games you win by not playing. Also, Alex told me she's been asking mutual friends about my dating life. Apparently, she heard through the grapevine that I've been seeing someone new, nothing serious yet, but we've had a few great dates. The fact that she's keeping tabs tells me everything I need to know about whether I made the right choice. Oh, and Lauren? She slid into my DMs last week trying to clear the air and explain Rachel's side of things. I left her on read. Some bridges are better off burned.